Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, where I am happy to be joined from the Silver Mountain Sports Club by Amber Young, who is the nutrition and holistic counselor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Great to have you here.
Thanks so much.
Great to have you here in Park City in general. Yeah. You just joined us not too long ago.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from?
So I moved here from Denver in February, where I had a private practice, and
That's
then
awesome.
Yeah.
Denver's a little different. They like to think they live in the mountains there.
Yeah, but
They
they're
have
far
no idea
away.
that they don't.
No,
Yeah.
no. You have to drive 2 hours to get there. Yeah.
They totally believe it too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You're not in the mountains, guys.
Yeah.
The first time I went there, I'm like, this is really disappointing.
Yeah.
Aspen. Now that's living in the mountains.
That's living in the mountains. That's right.
Denver,
yeah.
no.
No, you're right.
But here, you're living in the mountains. This is nice. You like
Yeah. This is kind of what we dreamed of, being so close that I could take a hike without having to hop in the car and hang out
That
in the
helps out with
mountains.
the holistic part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah, because being holistically minded really encompasses being in nature and taking care of your emotions, your soul, your stress level, which I feel like Park City's pretty stress-free.
I carry it all right here.
Yeah. Even being in the mountains, you're still stressed out. All right.
Well, but that brings up an interesting point, though, in why really you're here, because I want to talk to you about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to think that I'm that I eat well. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to tell you that I'm, nutritionally sound. Not. Same with really mind, body carrying the stress. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like when I was, meditating a lot and all that kind of stuff. Younger, had more time, spent more time on me, which is a big part of that.
Right.
Not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, but my point is that's the case for most people, I think.
Right.
We kind of get caught up in our lives and we sort of forget about living them sometimes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about kind of what is the genesis of getting back to that? How do you do that? How do you get healthier?
I think primarily what I do is teach people how to have a sustainable life with whole foods and become their own be interested in their own health. So a lot of times we kind of run through life and get stressed out and we don't pay attention to how our body's doing, how our diet's doing. And that's really the cornerstone of being, living in this world and being able to have an enjoyable life. So first you have to want to get back to being less stressed and eating a little bit healthier, then implementing change. And that's, I think, kind of where I come in, is that change is a really long process for so many people. So we start implementing small changes. Are you drinking enough water? Are you giving time for, meditation or breathing exercises?
Right.
Are you sleeping enough? And just kind of take each one of those things and then working on nutritionally sound food and kind of making small changes. It's not about, everybody packing up and going to a meditation retreat. It's about how to kind of get those little routines and small changes back into place. And I think that's where I really help.
It makes sense because I think typically we get off track the same way, right?
Absolutely.
We let it go. We're like, oh, well, I'll get to that again tomorrow, and I'll buy something healthy to eat tomorrow at the grocery store, and then we forget. We get there and get things that are easy, convenient.
Convenience is huge for people,
And I fall into that, I think, quite often. I think most people do. There's, I don't know, there's also sort of I'm guessing, not only with sort of letting it go, the process of, okay, I need to do this, but it's going to be too involved or it's too hard. It's not, right? There's a way to do these things without them being difficult.
Yeah,
Would that be right?
Yes, and that's actually, I think, the thing I'm most passionate about is what I like to call the path of least resistance. Is sort of getting back into a mindset where it doesn't feel so hard, that eating well and living well feels more effortless and enjoyable. So, I think it's good for people to sort of remember that, again, it's a small change.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable. I don't want people to panic and then become really strict.
Right.
that you kind of just slowly gear yourself back towards eating a sustainably healthy diet and doing behaviors that you probably remember. This is not about being stressed out while you fix what the problem is, but
Sure.
kind of meandering on a path that feels a little bit more organic. And
I'm on the scary, you got to get back together path, because, and then this is what I've noticed, and I don't know if this is true, but it sure, for me, it's a true, is that there's a tipping point too, of that. Remember that we were talking about incrementally letting things go. Well, I incrementally let some stuff go, of taking care of myself, and then all of a sudden my body started finally really reacting to it, and it did it in a huge way. I mean, it started out small, almost unnoticeable, and now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, blood pressure's high,
Right.
Along with the high and uncontrollable.
Right.
Other little things, liver, kidney numbers are
Yep.
bad, and it just starts going
Right.
south fast.
Right, exactly.
But even then, my doc, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
too, it's, well, let's find our way back the way we got lost, right?
Right, exactly.
Slowly.
Slowly.
It's hard not to. It's not hard not to freak out, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think if we make changes too fast or from a really negative place, they're not sustainable.
Okay.
So I think, my job is to really help people through the confusion. And, I got lost this week. Okay, how do we find our way back? And so I think it's completely doable if we allow ourselves the time to change, because we just can't do it overnight. Nobody can. The psychology of it, which is also in my background, is counseling, and I have a BA in psychology. So I think that's kind of where I focus, is helping people. What are your barriers to change? What are your habits that you can't let go of, and why can't you let go of them? So
Okay.
a lot of people know how to eat or what to eat, but they can't quite figure out why they can't get back to it.
Right. They're the subconscious things that they don't want, or let's be honest, the things you don't want to talk about. Right. Because there's a lot of it we're just like, yeah, if I just ignore it and pretend that everything's fine, it's fine.
Right.
And I'm not going to talk about the truth of why I do it. I'm not going to talk about the fact that I don't have the self-control, or the whatever the case is.
Sure. Yeah.
So this brings me to a question kind of related to this, and that is, we sort of talk about extremes. People, I think that we see a lot of extremes. I think sometimes some of the vegetarian movements, some of those seem extreme. Same with some of the paleo and the, I'm going to eat nothing but, I'm going to only eat steaks for the next 10 weeks. Kind of seems like extremes again. Is that true? Do you see that being the same thing?
Yeah, and I think that everybody has an individual path, and I think that's really, really important. So when fad
Fine,
diets,
respect all those kind of ideas, but
and when fad diets kind of come out and then everybody follows along, we sort of neglect to take each individual's health history into account, and what they need nutritionally, etc., their personality type, all of that stuff. So I think, veganism can work for some people and some body types. I think
but not all.
But not all, for sure. Vegetarianism, likewise. I've seen it work for some people who are really focused on eating a balanced vegetarian diet, but it doesn't work for everyone. And then again, with paleo, you just have to also start to be aware of what your body needs and wants, and that's a huge part of the process.
You said wants. There's some health in wants, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, for me, I was a vegetarian for 5 years, and I call those my tired years. So I think I learned for myself that
you needed the energy.
That I really needed.
That you
but
couldn't get elsewhere.
Right. But again, proteins that are healthy and antibiotic free and all that stuff.
Yeah, huge to talk about the things that are added to food right now that are scary.
Yes.
You've got the evil empire out there putting awful things in corn and soybean and stuff. You're like, really? And the same with places that are using antibiotics with their animal feed. It's scary stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Because we see an effect on us. So very similar to what you and I are doing right now would be the conversation that we'd be having about where I stand,
Yeah.
or where you stand if you're in Silver Mountain Sports Club, and we would
Yeah.
figure out what things to do to get us on a path that would be sustainable to that individual.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's this is basically the opening conversation. This
Yeah,
one we just had.
absolutely. Yeah, a complete health history
Yeah.
on the initial appointment. Lots of information there, so I can kind of gather it and really create an individualized plan based on what your particular health goals and history are.
All right, so we have just another moment or two left, so a couple of things. From there, we step into the stuff that we're going to do, the plan, and then you're kind of helping me maintain that.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I come back and visit with you on what, a weekly basis, monthly basis, or do I have a
So
choice?
I
How
do,
does that work?
yeah. Right now I do 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month packages. So a 1 month would include 3 consults, so initial intake plus recommendations, and then a follow up. And
Okay.
then the 3 month and 6 month add 30-minute sessions, 4 and 10, and it's kind of, you know, how much support do you need? How much change do you need? Do you feel like you're somebody who can take the information and then just kind of run with it, or do you need
I need
added
to have my hand
support?
held. Yeah.
Yeah, and most people do through the process of change. I mean, most people really need to, you know, have accountability, and
That's awesome.
yeah.
And you guys provide that.
Yeah.
So finally, this obviously makes great sense in doing it with a good workout regime, which you can also
Absolutely.
find at Silver Mountain Sports Club. But there's a couple meet and greets coming up.
Yeah, so on Monday the 22nd
Okay.
at the Kimball Junction location, I'll be hanging out from 8 to 10 a.m. I'll have a snack and some information on my services. You can come and ask me questions. And then there's on the 25th, that following Thursday at the Prospector location from 9:30 to 11:30.
Awesome.
I'll be doing the same, hanging out with some recipes, some snacks, and giving some information out.
Amber Young, it's really great to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as
I hope some
well.
other people come and meet you at the meet and greet, get a little more information, and
Yeah.
start feeling a little bit better. I think
Absolutely.
I feel better just talking to you.
Oh, awesome.
So
Good.
you're accomplishing things right there.
Good. I'm so glad.
Terrific stuff.
Awesome.
So Amber Young, she's at the Silver Mountain Sports Club, and you can meet her at either of those meet and greets at either location. And of course, go in there anytime. They're all happy to help you meet your goals. We'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show. Wrapping up this hour, we'll tell you all about the next after this.